Hello. Today we're going to learn how to input spreadsheet data into the PlusOptix machine so that we can screen hundreds of school children without having to enter data one at a time. It's handy, I think, if you have the PlusOptix manual available. The instructions for doing this for my machine start on page 41. Your book may be different. You'll also need the PlusOptix machine, obviously, a USB card of just about any type, and a computer with a spreadsheet program to input the data. Now, if you're working with a school that has a health program, they may be able to export comma-separated values data in the format that we need. So you might check with the school nurse and see if that is a possibility. So I will put my spreadsheet on the screen and we will learn how to fill that in properly. According to the book, the first row has to have column labels in it or some kind of data. The first row, regardless of what you put in there, will be discarded. So it will look for something in there, it can't be blank, and then it will discard whatever's in there. So the first row is for our benefit. The first column has to be the family name or the last name. I'll call that L name. The second column is the first name. I'll call that F name. The third column is date of birth, so I'll do DOB for date of birth. The fourth column is an ID number. Could be the ID number out of the health program. In our case, we don't use ID numbers much, so we're going to just make up some numbers. Then the location, which is a column again that we don't use, so we will make up data for that. And contact. You might wish to put in a generic local Lions Club email address. If the school nurse wants to put the school nurse's address in there, that's probably more appropriate for the school setting. Today we're just going to put something in there. Now the ID column, we just want random numbers that are different. I'm going to start with 1. Your program might have a different way of filling this in. Usually under the edit menu there is a fill and then a selection for a series, and you can define your series. Mine doesn't work that way unless I select a range of cells ahead of time. So if I'm entering 200 kids, I don't want to have to scroll all over my spreadsheet to add that a whole bunch of times. So I'm going to do this a little differently. I use OpenOffice. The location, we're just going to put school, and the contact, we're just going to put a generic school, and parents know how to contact their schools, so we don't have to worry about that. For copying this stuff down, these two columns you'll probably have to copy and paste. Just drag down however many cells you need and paste it back in there. In my case, I can do the fill and the copy paste all at once by dragging my thing. And we start in row 2, so to get 100 students I have to go to cell 101 and I let go and they're all filled in. Now it's a matter of having a class list, and as you know, for privacy we always start with just the last or the first initial of the last name. So we put in the first initial and the name of the first kid and his date of birth. Okay, now we want the date of birth. We're pretty close in our default format. We have month, day, but we want a 4-digit year. So for this column, we're going to go here, and you may have to go up to the top and do format cell, or you may be able to right click on here and do format cells. However you get there, select date for that column and find something with slashes and a 4-digit year, and select OK. Now that whole column, regardless of what you type in there, will have the right format. So you just take your class list, type in the names, and the birth dates, and I will come back when I have a spreadsheet that's all filled out. Okay, so here's my completed spreadsheet. I have 100 students, and now I'm ready to export this to my USB stick as a CSV file. So when you go to Save As, so you can select the file type. Down in the bottom you want to select Text CSV file. I noticed on the Mac the default file type didn't work for me. I had to select the Windows comma separated value type, which is down towards the bottom third of the list. So select the CSV type. I am going to save this directly to my remote drive, and I'm going to call it my class just because that makes sense to me. You can call it anything you want as long as it ends in CSV and you remember what it is. And then you get a warning from the spreadsheet because it's saving it in a format where you lose some of the spreadsheet functions. And then I need to eject the drive. Okay, so now we'll move down to our PlusOptix machine. And we'll get it in the screen there. When it powers up, you're on the Enter Data screen. We want to go to Settings. It's the cross tools in the bottom left corner here. There's two things we need to check before we get too excited here. We need to look at the date and make sure the date format is what we expect, month / day / 4-digit year. And this one is set correctly, so we don't need to change anything. And then we go to the first group of settings and we make sure that our CSV separator is a comma. When you get the machine, if you haven't changed it yet, it will be a semicolon. So you'll need to change that for this procedure to work. If you need to change it, you'll get a green check mark that you'll select to get back to the other screen and save the setting. Mine is already there. So we're there. I'm ready to insert the drive. We have to insert the drive upside down because the board on the machine, for the way that we look at it, is upside down compared to a desktop computer. The first thing we want to do is make sure there's no data on the machine that will get in our way. So we select the trash can here to delete the data that's already on the machine. We get a warning about, do you really want to do that? And we say yes, because we don't want what's on there. There shouldn't really be anything there anyway if the last person cleared the machine properly. Once we've done that, we are ready to insert data. So when we select that icon, I'll go back in case you didn't catch it. It's the little disc here with the left pointing arrow. And if you have more than one CSV file on your USB stick, you'll get a whole list of CSV files. My class is the only one here. So I select that. And I get a green check mark. And my data will show up. If you get an error that there's no data after you just saved this, it may be that that comma separator is not set right, or that your date is not set right, and it's not seeing that as a valid column in there. But you should see a list of the top several names that you put in. You accept that list, and you'll notice it's just sitting there. and it looks like it's not doing anything. If you get a short list like 30 names, it just takes a couple of seconds and it will go back to the screen so that you can do screenings. With 100 names in there, it takes a little while and you need to be patient. It is working, and then it will go back to the screen. The more names you have, the longer it takes, obviously. And you are now ready to screen, so you can exit the setup menu. And if you go to enter data, from the first name, I know I have a William in there, and there he is. I have 3 William F's, but they have different birth dates. So I will pick the William F that has the birth date for the child that's come in to see me. I'm ready to screen him. I press the pencil or edit button for that record. And his information is across the top of there. Now if the child is in the chair ready to go, you can press the shutter button and begin a reading. And you're ready to go. And that's how easy it is to import data. Thanks for coming, and join us again for another topic.